Alrighty, so this is the first podcast that I'm going to be doing, and it's called Limitless, which I like the name, and I do like the picture that I made up with the mountains, with the guy on the wheelchair and stuff with his arms up like this. And so this is the first podcast we're going to be doing, and today we have Dustin here with us, and he actually has his own YouTube channel, which is Discipling Recovery, which I like that because it's like discipling, and in the middle it's like SCI. He has a different color, so I thought that was pretty cool. So he has some good videos that you can check out, and there'll be a link down below that you can check out and stuff. So I guess I'll go through what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be talking about how he got injured, and then we're going to talk about how I got injured, which I don't think very many people know, at least the people on my YouTube channel. What we've done or completed since our injuries or whatnot, and what we're doing now. And I want to talk about the camp that I went to a couple weeks ago that I put up videos on. And then we're going to talk about resources that people can look at to get information about like spinal cord injuries and stuff. And then we're going to be talking about like what other people think of as far as people being in wheelchairs, kind of like the stereotype. So I guess we'll start off with our first topic on how Dustin got injured, and I'll hand it over to him. And so go ahead and tell us that.
All right. What's up, man? So I'm glad we're actually finally doing this video chat, because I've known you for a while, actually. Yeah. At least probably 6 months now. We've talked emails back and forth and stuff, but we never actually done it face-to-face, so this is cool. But yeah, I don't think you've ever even heard my story, have you?
I don't think so, other than that one video you have of like you telling your story in your truck and stuff, and you went to that
that's right.
school and stuff. That's about all I've heard, really.
Yeah, so basically I was 21 years old, just working in the sales department and stuff like that, and just having a 4th of July party out at my house, and me and a couple buddies. And somebody brought one of those like yellow slip and slides, that like a kiddie yellow slip and slide. And somehow I'm just running down that slip and slide and trying to like skate on it, and hit like a dry spot or something, and it just kind of launched me forward. And I fell like face first into like the little kiddie pool at the end of it.
Oh man! And
I'm sure you know, dude, that's like the weirdest feeling when you hit, and that shock that goes through your whole body. And I'm laying face down in this pool and had no movement at that moment. And somehow I was able to flip over. I still don't know how I was able to flip over, but at least I was able to flip over so I could breathe and wasn't like somewhat drowning in a kiddie pool. And so someone finally noticed me. My brother noticed me and dragged me out of there. And once ambulance got there and stuff, they flew me to the hospital and did surgery within just a few hours. They say the quicker they do surgery, the better, because you have a lot of swelling from the spinal cord.
Oh yeah.
So less damage, but yeah, you spend a couple months in the hospital. I spent mine at Shepherd Center in Atlanta. I don't know where you spent yours at.
Oh dang, I've heard that's really good.
Yeah, Shepherd Center was good. I mean, I hated it. I felt like I was in like prison, like you're locked down in there, you can't get out. But and all I was thinking about was going home. Like I want to get home, and I don't care. I don't care about learning how to. Because, you got to learn how to brush your teeth again. You got to learn how to do everything again. Because I got my arms back, and my triceps are weak, and I don't have finger movements. But yeah, it's chest down, paralyzed. And so I'm a C5, C6. And yeah, so I just want to get home, and I want to do therapy that was more adapt to trying to walk again instead of just trying to learn how to live my life. So I was totally against that whole idea of just living your life in a wheelchair. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm walking out of this place. And
that's how I was too, but that was before I knew like very much about spinal cord injuries.
Yeah, and so like I spent 5 years just constantly like 5 hours a day working out, and that was my goal. But as time went on, I was like, all right, this might be a while, this might be forever, I don't know, but I need to figure out how I can be at least independent. Like, how can I live on my own and not have to counting? Because that's probably the hardest thing with an injury, is counting on people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I don't like.
Relying on somebody is just it's horrible. But so get to that point. I mean, it's hard. It took me 5 years to do it, but But yeah,
so you were like actually conscious whenever you got injured?
yeah, that's something they asked me too. Were you conscious all the time? Because I think that's a big, um, it's some type of issue if you, but yeah, I was. So luckily that should be a good thing. But yeah, they, from then on, my mindset throughout the whole thing was I've always, like, even from the time I got hurt, I had a positive, like, look on it. And
yeah, that's how I was too.
And I know, my faith in God and stuff like that. So I think that helped push me through it. And but yeah, what is, like, tell me your side, because I've still never heard your side of how you got hurt.
Yeah, all right. So it was January 19th, which was Monday of 2015, and it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And I got off of school, and I just live a couple blocks from where I went to high school at, and I came home, and then I told my mom that me and my friend were going to go drive around because he didn't work that night. So I went and picked him up, and then we were driving down this country road, one that we'd never been on before, and I don't remember any of this, just what other people have told me, but I visited the site, and we, at the bottom of this hill, it takes a left, and it's paved road, and a speed limit of 55, and it goes uphill like this. So we turn right like this, and then we start going uphill, and it goes uphill for a good ways, like a mile or so, and at the top it kind of flattens off for just a little bit, about 50 yards, and we thought the road just went straight, so we were probably going about 60, and we thought the road just went straight, which it did, but there was actually a four-way right here after it straightened off, so this was like a four-way, and we didn't know because there was no stop signs on this intersection at all. And then it actually just went like straight down like this. So here we are, and we're just going straight, and we just go airborne over where after the intersection, and after the intersection it turns into gravel if you go straight, and there was like gullies and washes down in the gravel road and stuff, and I landed going like 60 mile an hour after we went airborne, and it was like real loose gravel and stuff, so I lost control, and I was like trying to control it and stuff, and went over and hit the left side of this ditch, and I tried to correct it, I guess, and I went back on the road, and it ran into the other side of the road, this big ditch, and I just hit it, and I do remember the sound. That's like the only thing I remember from the whole day, is just the impact, the sound of the impact, and we both weren't wearing our seat belts, because we're just on a country road just driving, and it's like way out in the middle of nowhere, and nobody was around, so we were just cruising, and I don't think it had a speed limit sign, but in Indiana, like on county roads, the speed limit's normally 55, even if it's not even if it doesn't have a sign like saying. So we were probably going about 60, and we hit that bank, and I got ejected out of my vehicle, and I don't know if my friend did or not, but then the vehicle rolled probably about 5 or 6 times, and these people pulled up, and my friend was actually walking around trying to find where I was, and he couldn't find me, and these two people come and pull off the side of the road and ask my friend if everything's alright, and he said he needs help finding me, so they called 911, and they couldn't find me, and then like the EMTs and stuff got there, and then they finally found me, and I was like 96 feet away from where my vehicle had stopped rolling, which I'm not sure where I got when I got ejected, but I'm assuming when I hit that bank, because I remember that sound, and I remember one picture, and it was like my chest was over the steering wheel. There was like this blue digital clock in the middle of the dash, and I remember seeing that, and I remember thinking to myself that this was gonna hurt, and they found me like 96 feet away from where my vehicle stopped rolling. Yeah, I was laying in this creek, and so it was like really wet, and I had this leather belt on with like jeans and boots, and the belt I had to throw away because it was all like moldy and stuff from where I was laying in the water, And then they took us in separate ambulances to a hospital about 20 minutes away, and I got lifelined to Eskenazi Hospital in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I stayed there for 30 days and got transferred to Rehabilitation Hospital of Indiana, and I was at rehab for 29 days because my insurance wouldn't pay for any more stays there, you know.
Yeah.
Did you have an issue with that?
Nah, because I was under my parents' insurance still, and they had pretty good insurance. But like I don't know if it's the case with you too. Like with insurance wise, like I'm still under my parents, and here I'm 30 something now, so I'm still under their because they can't drop me off the insurance, which is a good thing. But so that's good because it's gonna be it. I mean, now it might have changed, but a lot of times if you get an insurance company would not want to pick you up if you're a spinal cord injury. They're gonna be like, man, that's true, that's right there. So, but now they have to. So
okay, yeah. So I was at rehab for 29 days, and at the time when I was in rehab, I still thought that I was still gonna be able to just walk out like I was like before my injury. Yeah. But that was like way before I knew anything about spinal cord injuries, like you were saying. Yeah. But after like 29 days, I went out of there and I literally couldn't do anything. I couldn't figure out how to scratch my face, because my hands were like this.
That's what I remember the most too, dude. Like I had a little bit of biceps, but no triceps. And I remember like not being able to scratch my face. And it was so like, can someone scratch my nose? Or like, not to be weird too, dude, but like picking your nose, you couldn't do nothing. Like, like the nurses would ask like, hey, you want me to pick your nose? And I was like, nah, I'm all right. I'll be all right. But it's just weird little things. And it's just the things you can't do. And then that, even like, I remember the first couple nights, like I couldn't even pull the blanket up if I was cold. And it was small little things that you take for granted, but.
Yeah, like literally the littlest things are pretty much impossible, at least the first few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got out of there, and then I had a little bit of therapy come to my house for a few weeks, a couple times a week. And then since then I didn't do therapy for about a year later. This March I went to the hospital. I got transported to in the ambulance where they took me and my friend. I've been doing therapy there, and I get my manual chair this Friday. Tylite Aero T, I think it is.
Yeah, that's gonna be helpful too with building strength. Like,
yeah, I know.
You're still a year or so post, so like you're gonna get 10 times stronger, but that wheelchair is gonna help a lot. But
yeah, I used to not be able to this arm I could normally go like this. But this one here, I could do about like 3 of these, and then it just stops, and I couldn't do it. But now it's strengthened up to where I can do it pretty good now.
Yeah, it's basically if you can get enough to at least transfer yourself, that's all you need. I mean, mine are still weak, but that's all. As long as I can do that, I'm good. What happened to your friend though?
Oh yeah, my friend. He was in the same class as me in high school. And I think he tore his ACL in his left knee or left leg, and let's see what else. He had some broken ribs, and I think he did do something to his back. They said he broke his back, but I'm not really sure what that means because he doesn't have. It didn't result in paralysis, so I'm not really sure what the extent of that is.
Yeah.
And then myself, I fractured my left shin and broke my left femur, which I think I broke it on the steering wheel on my way out because I'm like 6'2". I was 6'2" at the time, so and my vehicle was like pretty much flattened. It was a 2005 Mitsubishi Montero, which is kind of like a mini SUV, and it was pretty much flattened right there at the cab. So they were saying if we had our seatbelts on, we probably wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
And then I broke my left collarbone, top and bottom jaw both. I broke those. The palate of my mouth, which I didn't even know you could break. And I took out these 6 teeth right here. So those are fake ones, and I broke C5, 6, and 7, and they diagnosed me as a C5 complete. And are you incomplete?
Yeah.
So
but I don't know. So do you not? See, I've never really seen a big difference between complete and incomplete. So you don't have sensation?
Yeah, I don't have any feeling from about right above my armpit. So like right there, I don't have any feeling from there down. So when I put on deodorant, I can't feel it.
Right, okay. Yeah, because I got
also
that
can't
back
move
to where I can feel touch, like slight touch on my legs and stuff, but I can't feel pain or like the water, like if it's hot or cold.
Okay, yeah. See, there's different like variations, even if you have the same injury, you know. Yeah. And I had a traumatic brain injury on the back right of my brain, like back in here, and like my parents would ask the doctors at Eskenazi, where I got Lifeline too, like ask them questions about stuff, and they were saying like if he makes it, you know, like they highly doubted I would like survive, like live through it, and they said if he does, he's probably gonna have a lot of memory loss, and he's probably not gonna remember like anything, including their names or anything, you know. So apparently I healed up pretty good. And yeah, so I'm diagnosed as complete, and then yeah, that's about the story of that. So now I guess we'll go on to our next topic of what you've done, like since you got injured. Like how many years has it been?
Man, it's been 11 years now. So yeah, because I was hurt in 2005, but yeah, the first 5 years, I did complete therapy 5 hours a day every day, and then I started getting into going to school because vocational rehab would say, like, you know, it's a government program that says, hey, we want you off Social Security. How can we get you working again? Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, well, I'm down to work again. Like, you get bored after a while sitting around, so I went back to school and I was like, all right, I'll just get an education. They'll pay for it, and then I'll do that. But so I went back to school and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And then a lot of it's like, what do you want to do and what can you do? That's the scariest part. Like, what can I do with my injury? So I just kind of felt it out, took different classes and stuff. And then I enjoyed history. So I was like, all right, I'll just take some history classes. But you can't do nothing with the history major other than teach. So, and I was like, well, teaching is a good way to influence kids too. Because I think that's another thing too, man. Kids, and we'll talk about that later, I'm sure, about how people react to you. And so I was like, man, if I can influence kids in some way, then I feel like I'm serving a purpose. So that's what I went to school for, did education, and then I graduated probably a year ago. So, and then from there I got a job pretty quick, just like a month after graduating at the high school I went to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm teaching there and teaching history. And dude, it's been great. Like, these kids, it's the way they're a little hesitant when they come in class and see this dude's in a wheelchair. Yeah. And they so many questions. So I tell them the story, and I'm like, look, man, you got any questions? Like, we'll talk. Like, I'm not embarrassed about anything. I'll just say how it is. I mean, that's life. And they just like completely click with you. I don't know if it's because like when you see other teachers, you feel like they have no flaws or they think they're perfect, but they see all my flaws on the outside, and they're like, this guy, you know, has been through things, and he's not perfect, and it's like we connect so much. Like, I have my during lunch, there's like 30 kids in there, and they're like piled around my desk wanting to talk, and so I think that I found my purpose through that, which I'm happy about that. So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's where I am right now. But and I got married after I got injured too, and I met my wife. She was a physical therapist, and I threw game on her, and she just fell in love.
I like it.
And then we got married, and yeah, so it's been great. But what about you?
So I got injured in January 19th of 2015, so last year, and so I did therapy for a couple weeks after I got home in March, and then I went, I wanted to graduate with my class, and I was on the academic honors track at the time of my injury, and I was hoping I would still be able to do that. So I was so ahead of like most people in my class. So I only had to finish 2 classes, which was English. I was actually taking English composition, which is through Vincennes, which I'm going through now. I took that in high school. So English Composition 101, which is the first semester at the time of my injury, and I completed that. And so I was taking 102 the second semester of my senior year in high school, and they made it to where I could just take English 12, still get my English credit, and then I had to take econ and government, which I finished before my injury in the first semester because it was only a semester class. So I only had to finish English 12 and econ, and then I graduated with my academic honors diploma, which I thought was pretty cool because I was going to be pissed if I didn't, because I took 3 years of French, and man, I freaking hate French. So I graduated.
Use that much in Indiana, but whatever.
Yeah, we have our own French here.
Yeah.
So I graduated, and then let's see. Then the fall of 2015, I took one college class through Vincennes University, which is which used to be, it's Indiana's first college. That's what they always say, and so it's always been like a 2-year college, but just a couple years ago they started a 4-year programs. For actually what I'm going for is information technology, or IT, so working on computers and stuff, which I'm pretty good. I'm like a redneck, but I'm pretty good at computers, which is kind of cool. And I'm doing the 4-year degree there at Vincennes with information technology. So I took speech. Yeah, I took speech the fall of 2015 online, which was pretty cool because I could just record myself a bunch of times until I got it right, and then just send it in. Yeah. And so I got an A in there, and then in the spring of 2016, this year, I took Earth Science online through Vincennes, and I got an A in there. So those were just the general things, and my class, my fall classes of this year start tomorrow, and I'm taking English Composition 102, so the second semester of English Composition, and what else? Personal Financial Management. And after I get those two done this fall, I'll just have one more General Studies class, which is just some basic math, I think. So then my plan is next fall is to actually attend on campus and actually be going for my major after I got my General Studies done next spring, the spring of 2017. And let's see, November of 2015, I went deer hunting on the first day of gun season for Indiana, and I got a buck, which is pretty cool.
See, going on that, man, something like you posted videos on that too, and that's what I want to get back into, something like that, because I'm from Florida, which you wouldn't think is a big hunting area, but the little town I live in is like a little redneck town. So, dude, I grew up doing we did a lot of gator hunting, which is always fun. Oh, dang. And I've done that since my injury, but you kind of just get in this little small John boat, and you roll out there in the lake, and you just have a paddle boat, and you got the spotlight out there, and you look for those eyes, and then you roll up next to that gator, and because it's so many gators out there, you gotta get rid of them, or else they're everywhere. So I've done that, duck hunting and stuff, but deer hunting I've only done, you gotta go up towards Atlanta, Georgia type area for that. But yeah, that's something I miss doing, is that type of hunting. But I see you've been doing that still, so that's
I thought that was pretty cool.
That bow hunting.
Oh yeah, I got me a crossbow last week. So, and I got a UTV, so I got hand controls and stuff for it now. And me and a few of my friends made a deer plot a few weeks ago out on his property that he has, and we put up trail cams, and we've been seeing deer on the cameras and stuff. So I'm hoping, and we built a shack there on that property a couple of years ago, like our senior year, or end of junior year, I think. So I'm hoping to record record us staying at the shack and like deer hunting the next day with my crossbow and stuff. And I actually wrote an article for Able Outdoors, which is a disabled hunting just disabled outdoorsman. It's like a magazine. So yeah, there's a link down below of this video that you can read that, and it's pretty good. I'm actually a pretty good rider, which I think is pretty weird, but you should check that out if you haven't already.
Yeah, man, you're smart for a redneck.
Yeah, yeah, I am. I guess I'm pretty smart.
How's that? How is it pulling back? You're using it, so crossbow's a lot better for distance-wise. Because is it too hard to pull back that string on a regular bow?
All right. So before my injury, when I was younger, I shot like long bows and recurves, which is just basically like wood and a string. And then you got compounds, which have the like the limbs that come out, and then it has like the cams on the end that like cycle through like in motion when you pull back the string. And once you get back to a certain like distance, like about right here, then it just like then the pressure lets on, so you can hold it. And normally you have what they call a what's that thing around the wrist? A release.
That little hook thing that
a little release, and then you just pull the trigger. But I shot my dad's before my injury, like right before it and stuff. But it's like, I don't know, probably in the 50, 55 or 60 pound bow. So it's like 60 pounds to draw it back, which I definitely can't do it now, especially since we don't have use of our fingers. But at that camp, the Camp PossAbility place I went to in Indiana, Martinsville, at Bradford's Woods, which I think IU has something to do with it. I went to the archery spot there, and I shot a compound bow, which I wasn't for sure how it was even possible, because, well, they didn't even have any sights on the bow, so it was just shooting it like a recurve or longbow. But they also didn't have a release or anything to wrap around your hand. So I was wondering, I was like really worried about like having the arrow go off in some place and like hitting something or somebody. So I was like really cautious and stuff. And I got a video on this that will be linked down below, but you can, what I did is I just like put like 3 fingers under the arrow, and then I like just leaned my chair back since I'm in this power chair, so I wouldn't lean forward, and then I just like pulled it back, and I shot it like 5 times, and the first 3 times I missed. 4th time I hit like this big blue circle, and the 4th or 5th time I hit this card, the 9 of diamonds, which they have these cards on this foam thing, and I hit that, and I got a picture of it. Actually, it's right here.
Yeah.
There we go. You can see that.
Yeah.
So I got that. And then I shot a crossbow out there, and after I got home, I actually ordered me a crossbow the weekend before the camp, and I got it the weekend after the camp. It's a Mission MXB Sniper Light. It's like one of the lightest crossbows. It's only like 5.86 pounds, I think. And normally a crossbow, on the end of the limbs, it has like a little hook where you put your foot in to where you can like then pull back the But this one, it doesn't have that. It has a it has ridges on the inside of the limbs, and like these rubber knobs on the outside of the limbs. So basically what that does, it takes weight off the front, so it's not as heavy in the front, so you don't lean over, which is what we need since I don't have control of my core or anything. And they also make a crank to where you can crank it back, so you don't actually have to pull the string back. I got that. I got the crank and I got the crossbow. They're both made by the same company, Mission, which is actually made by Matthews. I don't know if you've ever heard of like Matthews. They make really popular like compound bows and stuff. But I'll do a video on that sometime. But I can load it and everything by myself, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that digresses into our next topic, the camp thing that I went to, which was a couple weeks ago, and I made videos on this stuff, and I still got a couple more videos, which is like belly acting, I had a GoPro and had it on my head, and it was like what they call belly-ack, which is kind of like a kayak, but instead of like a seat, like a canoe, you just lay on your stomach, which is, I guess that's why they call it belly-ack. But then you don't have a paddle or anything, you just use your arms, and you can just go like this and move your arms throughout the water to like move around and stuff, which was really cool. But yeah, so I've only been injured about like 18 or 19 months. Like 18 months. On the 2 days ago was 18 months actually, but I thought that was pretty cool. Like living in Indiana, there's like not very much around here, and I highly doubted there was anything like that camp thing I went to, but somehow, like on those spinal cord pages on Facebook that I'm in.
Where do they do that at?
It's in Martinsville, which is between Bloomington, where IU is, and Indianapolis. It's about probably halfway. It's like 30 minutes north of Bloomington. It's Martinsville, and it's this place called Bradford Woods. And it's, I think, like I said earlier, I think IU has something to do with it. I think it's like Bradford Woods IU, or IU for Bradford Woods or something. But we went, like, it was really cool because like it was like anyone with a disability, really, in between the ages of like 17 and 35, I think, and you had to have a high school diploma, which I don't think actually, maybe you don't have to have one, but I thought you did because there's someone there that was like a senior this year, so he hadn't graduated yet, but I thought that was really cool. They had like cabins, like separate cabins. I think we had like 4 or 5 cabins, and my cabin was, what was that, like Rhodes Landing. And so basically it had 2 doors like this, and then one big living room, and then on this side was the male side, and this side was the female side, and it was split off. They had doors there once you went in the living room. The living room just kind of joined the cabin together, and then on the sides going down they had like the male and female, like where you slept at and stuff. And they had like staff people there and stuff. Like my staff member, his name was Ben, and he was going for physical therapy in the University of Indianapolis. So like they had like therapists, people who were already therapists, or nurses, or people that were going to be like therapists or nurses and stuff. And I think they had like 35 campers there, and like 60 staff members. So they just divided that up into like 4 or 5 cabins. And we went, I went swimming for the first time there, which was pretty cool. Like standing up and stuff, and the Ben, my staff member, he had like a hold of my chest, and then like he'd move his foot like behind mine and like push my whole leg forward. And I was like looking down through the water, and it was almost like I was like walking again. And like I've heard like people, like with some people with spinal cord injuries, they can like move stuff in the water that they can't move like out of the water, you know, because it's like hardly any gravity in the water. It's almost like floating. So I was like trying to like close my eyes and like imagine myself walking, but I don't think it worked very good.
I think the water moves your leg, and I think they think it's them. No,
Yeah,
I don't know
I
if
think
that's
so.
the case.
Well, I
You know,
mean,
when you're
it
just
probably
floating, things
could
move.
be.
So I don't. But I usually, when I go swimming, like I'll go out on the lake with a buddy or something on the boat.
Yeah.
They would usually just say, "Hey, put this life jacket on," and they toss me off the boat, and then I would literally just float. We just float in the lake, and that's how I do it. Just put a life jacket on and jump in. And
they put these weights around my ankles, because like apparently my legs were like coming up, you know, like that on top of the water. So they tied these like little ankle weights that they wrapped around my ankles. And so we went swimming, then I went canoeing, went belly-acking like I talked about earlier, like a kayak, but you lay on your stomach. And let's see, we did hand cycling, but I didn't get to go because me and Ben were late to that, and they were already heading back. But there's always next year, I guess. And let's see, went fishing. Didn't catch anything because the only bait they told us to use was corn, which I've never used corn for fishing.
fishing?
Yeah, my dad said that normally that's like what you use like for like trout and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch a dang thing, and I don't think I'll ever
that's
use
weird.
corn again. and horseback riding, which I didn't do, but I did get some
Yeah, I saw that video. You said you were scared.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey,
Dude, I'm telling you what. Let me tell you something. If they ever had bull riding, I'd totally do it.
Oh, like, so would I.
That is my dream. It's always been my dream to be a bull rider, and I was like, man, if they offered it now, I know it'd be the ugliest thing in the world. Like, I would last like 0.5 seconds, but probably get stomped on. But man, that'd be so fun.
Dang, that would be. I'd probably ride a bull more than I'd ride a horse.
Really?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
What's your plans for driving and that kind of stuff?
Well, we do have a van right now. We basically got it so we can like transport this big old 350-pound power chair, and with me in it, it's like a little over like 600, you know.
Yeah.
Well, at the time of my injury, I weighed like 180, 185, and when I got out of the hospital, I was like 150, 148.
Yeah.
So I lost like 32 pounds. Let's see. Well, my mouth was wired shut because I broke both jaws, so I couldn't eat for a few weeks. I mean, even at rehab, I couldn't eat for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I only ate for like a week at rehab, but I had to eat like pureed food, and oh man, it was terrible. I filled out my menu, and one of the options was like glazed pork loin. I was like, that sounds good. They freaking brought it in. It was like all like it looked like pink applesauce. It was so nasty. I just had one of my family members go and get me McDonald's. I was like, man, this is terrible. So I'm trying to think of what else I did at camp. But really, we made like these tie-dye pillowcases, which I actually don't have washed yet. But really, the coolest thing was just like being around other people with the same kind of injuries as me. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And there was this guy there in my cabin. His name was Braun, and he was from Texas, and he like flew all the way to Indiana. And he has like this disease, like 1 in a million disease, he said. It's like all these like really bad diseases combined into one. Like muscular scoliosis or whatever, where like your muscles slowly degrade. Like cancer, AIDS, I don't know what else, and like something that like messes with his vocal cords or like vocal box or something. He kind of has like a stutter, you know.
Yeah.
And he was like telling me about that and stuff. And then I ate like supper with him the first day, and then this second day I ate breakfast with him, and then at lunch I was going to eat lunch with him. They had like these tables in the dining hall thing, like each cabin was assigned to one, so I was like trying to find someone from my cabin that I knew, because it was only like the first full day, didn't really know anybody, so I was like trying to find him, and I was like, oh, there he is. So I roll up, and I said something to him, and he looks over, and I was like, oh, that ain't Braun. So I went over there, and I was like, I went over to that guy over there, I thought it was you. He's like, no, that's my brother. And he had the same 1 in a million disease, and he had a sister there that was in the same cabin as me. Wow. And like they think they're the only people in the United States that has like this disease like back to back in 3 consecutive sessions, which I thought was really cool.
Wow.
I guess we'll skip that one topic of resources and just go to the stereotype. Like you said earlier, something about you teaching the kids and stuff. Like, what do they think about like you being in a chair and stuff?
Yeah, they just, they'll it's mostly just one they'll have the questions they come up with are questions like I would never think they'd ask too. And
really,
yeah, and it's just like, I don't know. I mean, I think this generation, it's different, that they're more accepting about things. And I don't know what it is, and I don't know, it's something they grew up watching on TV, but they are very accepting about the injury. Like they want to know about like how it happened, and but they don't. I don't know. It's just a different situation, but yeah, I think the kids are good about it. And like I have little nieces and nephews and stuff, and they're like 2 and 3, and they're at the point where like my niece asked me, like she just comes up randomly, how do you go to the bathroom? And the kid's like 2, 3 years old. I'm like, how are you even thinking of this question already?
Yeah.
So I just gotta throw something out there, like, I don't know. I just kind of just change it, but yeah, it'll be, or like if she'll ever see me out of my chair, like sitting on the couch or something, she's like really confused and she kind of laughs and stuff and is like trying to figure out how I'm out of my chair. But yeah, I mean, I try to think of how, like, when I first got hurt, dude, that was like, I always felt like everybody was staring at me. Like, every time I went anywhere, I felt like I'm always getting, so I don't know if I've just kind of been able to ignore it now, or it's not really as bad as I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what it is. But at this point, I don't feel it's that bad. And a lot of times they'll see me getting out of my truck and they'll stop and like watch, and it's good because if you've seen my truck, like I'll pull, it's a lifted truck, and I'll pull into a handicap spot, and I think they stare because they're like, this dude's not paralyzed, or this guy's not handicapped. Look at his truck. Yeah. And then they'll see the electric doors open in the ramp, and they're probably like, oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, I think the more comfortable I got with it, it made everybody else comfortable. But I don't know how it's been for you, but
yeah, I agree. Let's see. Yeah, when I first got injured, I'd say I felt like everybody was staring at me, like you said. And I also feel, at least in this power chair, that I'm always in the way, no matter where I am. If I'm at like a restaurant eating, I always feel like I'm in like the aisle and nobody can get around because, it sticks out like about 1.5 feet like behind me and stuff. So I can't wait to get that manual chair. But I always felt like I was in the way. I mean, I'm not too like big of a guy as far as width goes, but I am pretty tall, so my legs are like protruded out like pretty dang far, And I don't know. I think people just stare. I think they just stare because they're curious as to like how you do things and what happened to you. I just now thought of that. They're not really like, I don't know, like just staring at you just because like you're in a wheelchair, like haha, They're just like curious as to like what happened, I think, because maybe they don't know like other people in a wheelchair, maybe, because I only knew like one person in a wheelchair before my injury. I think also like most people think that people that are in wheelchairs like can't do very much for themselves, which, I mean, I can do just about everything I could before my injury, besides like move anything from like right ear down, or I feel like I really do feel like I'm more active after my injury than before my injury, which is really weird. Like I think before my injury, I was just like, I knew that I could do just about anything, so I never really tried very much. Like didn't try any new things, and I used to play like a lot of my PlayStation and stuff. Like I was telling you, I had that YouTube channel before my injury of like me doing gaming videos. Like I always like sat in this office chair that was right here. Like that thing is like 8 years old, and I guarantee it has a bunch of hours of me sitting in that chair, either playing my PlayStation or on the computer. But I never really like tried to do new things, or like never like adventured very far, because I knew I could do pretty much anything. And I think this power chair, I feel like I have limits, and I just want to like exceed the limits. So I like try just about anything. And I feel myself a lot more active than I was before my injury. I don't know about yourself, but...
Oh, yeah. And that's, I mean, I think you put it the right way, because like the guy that gets me a wheelchair, he always says, man, dude, you destroy these wheelchairs. Like I tried to donate my last one. He's like, no one even wants this chair. This thing's so beat up.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't like staying around that. Like you spend so much time in the hospital and then you spend so much time at home. It's like, man, you get out and do something. Just see what you can do. And like I've been skydiving since I got hurt, and it's just, you kind of lose that type. But I mean, they if you look at it as, if you see, you're in the power chair too, which I kind of feel might limit you a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
So like, because you traveling, you always have to, have a certain type of vehicle, and so
Right.
I think once you get the manual chair, I think that's going to help you a lot too.
Yeah, see, I drive this UTV we got around. Well, we bought it for hunting right after my injury of last year, right before deer season. That's what I shot the deer out of. But like, I can get in it and I drive it and stuff. I transfer myself over, but then I just have to back the chair up. But then like wherever I go in the UTV, I can't get out or anything, so I'm just like stuck there, just sitting there, and like wanting to get out and like do stuff. So I think that's help out a lot.
Like at least with my YouTube channel, I feel like it's got me. I found a passion in something. Like, it just started with trying to do helpful videos and putting it on our website, and then like I grew up love filming stuff. Like, I love making movies and like I remember as like a little kid, I would take like little action figures and like move them at little moments and then film it and stop it and then move
I did the same thing with like NASCAR.
So I do all these like little videos, and now like once I started getting into making videos and edit it, like I just love doing that. So now I found like a little passion of mine, just filming and editing and putting on, even if there's not a lot of people that see it, like just being able to be creative, like trying to find that way of being creative is, I think, something important too.
I like that.
We're limited in that area, but if we can find something.
Yeah, so have you been skydiving before your injury?
No.
See, that's how
my wife did that afterwards, but that was a fun experience. I mean, you just strap on and your legs kind of just they walk you to the end of the plane and your legs are just kind of dragging, and then they just like flip backwards doing backflip.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, see, that's how I was like when I went ziplining. That's another thing I did at that camp. I went ziplining, which I never done before my injury, but I've been to I've been to Tennessee, Gatlinburg, well, like Pigeon Forge. We normally stay in Pigeon Forge and then like go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I've been there like several times, like I don't know, like 13 times or so.
Yeah, we go there every year.
Yeah, and there's like a couple ziplining places, and we've like went to one, but we never really did it. So I'd never been ziplining before my injury, but I did like a couple weeks ago at that camp, and it was like really cool. It was like really freeing. Like, it felt like I was like free, like from my chair and stuff, which was really weird as I was like going down the zip line, which I'm sure you kind of felt the same thing skydiving.
Have you been on a roller coaster since you got hurt?
Nope, I haven't been on one, but there's this place called Holiday World, which is about an hour south of where I live in Indiana, and they got some roller coasters. They came out with a new one that I haven't rode on, so hopefully I'll get to try that one out. Yeah, I saw that video of you at like some amusement park or something.
Yeah, well, a lot of times they won't let you, like, I didn't know that they won't let you videotape the ride, but that's still, like, I just went on one not too long ago, and it's a little bit more scary when you don't have trunk support and leg control. Like, you really feel like you are just like, you could fly out at any moment.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure.
Instead, it makes it a little bit more fun, but yeah, I just went on one where it's just a lap bar, and it's at SeaWorld, and it was scary, but I think you'd like it if you ever got down.
I think I would. I mean, I didn't ever ride any roller coasters when I was younger until about like 4 years ago or so, and then like I was like really scared of them, but then like I didn't really mind them too much. Well, I rode the biggest one they had at Holiday World called the Voyage, and it was like a metal, where a couple of the other ones, like the Raven and something else, it's like wooden, so it's like really, really rough. But I like the Voyage the most out of those. It's by far the fastest, and it's the smoothest too, which is kind of weird because it's not made out of wood and stuff, So yeah, I guess we covered all our topics, and I guess this is podcast number 1. So if you guys want to be featured on the podcast, just let me know. And I hope you enjoyed what we talked about here. I guess I'd wrap it up for this video, and go ahead and check out his YouTube channel. Link will be down below, and it's Discipling Recovery. He has some good videos, so thank you for watching this video, and I guess we'll see you in the next one, or I'll see you in the next one.